The gloves are coming off. We're about to go full court press. It's time to play ball. Listen in as we tackle everything in the world of sports right now. Throw your hat in the ring at 516-572-7440. Huddle up. This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Oh, we're back! Oh my God, does it feel good? How long's it been since the Monday show, Eric?
2 weeks?
3 weeks!
Year?
You're wrong!
Last year?
3 weeks. We haven't been back. We missed Christmas Eve.
Right.
We missed New Year's Eve. And now we're back. So that makes 3 full weeks.
With a special surprise,
Absolutely no football. And yes, a special surprise. Did anybody hear that? There's something in the air.
Is that the
I can't
wind?
quite figure it. Yeah. It's just something's whispering to me from the ether.
Wind jets.
You are listening to 90.3 WHPC. This is WHPC Sports Talk, and I have a different sound, a different voice. I'm sick. That's the point. My name's Nick Ohrnbereger, and I sound way bassier. I'm John Sterling today, Susan. But I am joined.
Clemens.
Oh God, Alex Rodriguez is in George's box. Now we have so much to do today. Just an insanely packed show on WHPC Sports Talk. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. My name is Nick Ohrnbereger. I'm your host for this wonderful evening. I'm joined alongside my friend, my compatriot, my co-host, but most importantly, my Rock of Gibraltar, Eric Fischetti. How's it going, Eric?
Thank you for that lovely introduction, Nick.
You are welcome.
Appreciate that.
Listen,
Did not expect that. Appreciate that.
Yes,
though.
you did. Now, moving on. You absolutely did. You know exactly what to expect when you come in here. That's not true. I actually planned it so you don't. But we have a super special guest, a man I have not been on the radio with since Friday. It's Dominick Arbolino, the former co-host of the Beyond the Game on Fridays. I believe you were on the Tuesday show too.
No.
Were you? Or were you just Fridays?
Really, just Fridays. Every so often when I could.
He stopped in on Tuesday.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he stopped in a couple of times.
All right, well, you know what? Who cares? The point is,
It's all right.
Dom's here.
Anyways.
I'm super excited to have him. Dom, what's been up, man? How you been?
I've been good. Crazy weekend, I'll tell you that. I'm excited to talk about it. But, nothing's really changed since Friday, though, so.
No, listen, not a whole lot has changed. This wasn't, the only thing that's changed is our opinions on what's happened.
Very fluid thoughts.
Very fluid thoughts, very interesting stuff. Obviously, there's a ton to talk about. With sports in general, I think the most pertinent thing for us today, we got to get right into the NFL weekend that was. Everybody knows how we do it by now, I hope. If you haven't realized how we do it by now, listening to this show, what we'd like to do is we like to recap everything. So without further ado, it's time for a very special edition of the NFL Weekend Recap. Now, we're not going to do this in the traditional manner in which we do it. Dom, if you're not too familiar, what we'll do is we'll break down each game super quick.
He don't know nothing.
But we don't got to do that today because there's only 4 games to cover.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of, on all of, I wrote out some, let's milk this thing.
Yeah, let's
for
milk
all it's worth, because we got so much to do right now. And it's less games. You'd think we'd have more time, but there's so much to talk about. I have some general questions. I have some general, I hope you have some answers for me. So let's start with the Eagles. 16-15.
I hate sports.
Oh, my God. We picked, everybody in the room, Eric, picked the Bears.
Someone actually picked the X Factor in the room as well. Dominic.
You picked the Eagles?
No.
I picked the Bears, but I said, remember how we said what's the key factor of the game? I said Cody Parkey.
That's right. He did say that.
As soon as that happens,
if he's not making his kicks, they're going to lose the game. And
listen, I'm going to tell you something that I may or may not have been doing. So the NFL on the app basically shows you the game that's going on, and of course the Bears and the Eagles was the nightcap. I may or may not have been driving while watching this game. I wasn't. So what happened was I'm listening to the game, and all I hear is a doink, and I'm like, no way. All right? Not only did he hit the upright, he hit the crossbar. Yep. But it turns out
two of them
a double doink.
But today it came out that the Eagles got a piece of the ball. Now, I don't know if I full on believe that.
No. There's video.
Did you see the video? I heard it on the radio on the way in.
The NFL changed it to it was blocked. It was blocked by one of the defensive linemen. No, it definitely hit. You could see the video in slow-mo. It hits the fingertips, and you see the ball get altered just a little bit.
Let me ask you a question. Does that matter? Given his history, he's missed 11 field goals this year. He misses the biggest field goal of his life. Yesterday. Yesterday.
And you know what's funny about that? We will never know that situation. We will never know
if it
how much.
Went through?
No.
Oh.
His demeanor, because you got to admit, you just said it. That's probably the biggest field goal of his life.
Easily.
Look, I understand, you have players like Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant backing him about saying, we don't understand how these moments are like. But I'm going to honestly, I don't know if you saw it, but Rex Ryan said something this morning about, and I'm going to more side with him, where he's an NFL kicker. That's his job. That's his job to make these kicks for these moments. That's all they have to do.
You're right.
You're not wrong.
And I think everybody in Chicago has every reason to hate this man.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously, again, I will say this: seeing that it did get altered a little bit, it's a little more fair for him, because you can't do anything about that. But if it went untouched, everybody thought,
it honestly doesn't matter at that point, because going back on that, he has a history of missing these field goals. Just look at this past year.
Well, yeah, of course.
Missed 11.
It's almost like NBC knew that he was going to miss because they had a nice video compilation for him.
They had it ready. That's insane. But you know what? I don't know you can put the full weight of the game on Cody Parkey.
He scored more than the whole offense.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get the idea that your one job on the field, and by the way, this dude doesn't have a job next year. He probably never kicks in the NFL again. That's just how it. I don't. This is your one job. This is your only job in the NFL, is to kick field goals. You missed 11 in the season, and I don't care if it was touched, blocked, whatever you want to call it. You missed it in the biggest game of the year. This kid doesn't get a job again.
I don't know. I feel like kickers just get picked up and dropped like they're nothing, honestly. So I feel like eventually he will make it onto another team. And then
Janikowski is a freak of nature.
And Vinatieri, actually.
And Gostkowski, too. I'd give it to
Gostkowski.
What did you feel about the other side of it? Khalil Mack, that defense.
He was a no factor.
Absolutely handled.
He was quiet.
And more importantly, Trubisky in this game just seemed to never really. He didn't play. I don't want to say he played poorly.
Bad. He didn't play bad. He played okay.
It was average, but it wasn't enough. In a wild card, with the NFL, it's one game or go home. You got to step it up there. You got to step
Absolutely.
it up.
And for me personally, I look at Trubisky, and I have been sold by Eric Fischetti throughout this year. This is the dude who called Mitchell Trubisky before anybody else did. Said, I think Mitchell Trubisky's the real deal, and I chastised him at every moment I had because I don't believe in them.
Well, by can I ask you something? Because you still might be in the clear, because he might not be something yet. Do you put this Bears season, how they ended the regular season, this whole season in general, is this on the hands of Mitch Trubisky, or is this mainly a team effort? Because Trubisky wasn't the only reason why the Bears were so successful this year.
I don't know, because the Bears defense, did kind of, they obviously weren't as dominant as they were throughout the whole season yesterday, but they still had good moments.
Of course.
So I feel like, personally, you need more than an average performance in a wildcard game. So I would put it on Trubisky in terms of how it ended. But
let me ask you a question, though, because he brings up an interesting point. And one of the things I like to look at, and one of the things I think is important to look at, Trubisky over the season, I thought was impressive. He had 2 or 3 games that were remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. The rest of the season, he was pretty damn good, right?
Look, there's one thing that really sticks out in my mind. But speaking of Trubisky, it was that game against the Patriots where he unloaded a bomb and then it didn't reach the end zone and they lost at the 1-yard line against the Patriots. That's a good way to lose. Granted, you don't want to lose ever, but still, you're going up against one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Your defense held its own, and the Patriots defense, although it's probably not the best, not the worst either, it's still an NFL defense. The kid did his job. He really did.
But any defense that's coached by Bill Belichick isn't going to be completely rollover. This is a guy who was he was defensive coordinating defensive backs also for Bill Parcells back in the day. I don't think you can ever count out a Belichick coach defense. defense. Obviously, he is Tom Brady. He doesn't have to worry too much about the offense. I don't think you're going to see anybody roll over during as far as defensive players in their upcoming games. So I'm just in the mode where, yes, was it an impressive game? Of course. Everybody's going to give up those. The thing is, the Patriots don't give up those kind of games in playoff situations. To the Bears, when I believe during that game, they had Gronk wasn't playing, Edelman wasn't playing, several players on their defense were key factors on their defense.
I wouldn't be surprised if Gronk wasn't playing. He was hurt a lot this year.
He was hurt a lot this year. So I don't know. I don't know exactly. Listen, Trubisky is an albatross at this point. We don't know. I still don't think we know enough about him.
He's still a work in progress, but he looks really, really good.
What I could take away from this game is that I personally believe the Eagles did not deserve to win this game.
No, I did not either.
Oh no, definitely not.
Nope.
Listen, neither team deserved to win this game. That's what I come away with. When you score under 20 points, you're asking to lose a football team, especially in this NFL. Maybe you can make the argument that because of how incredible the Bears defense has been, that they're the one defense you can maybe get away with that with. Yeah. But look what happened. You just got beat by a backup quarterback.
Yeah, but a backup quarterback that's been there.
And Super Bowl MVP.
Who is making a strong case for the
Which brings me to my first question.
The Eagles should just do this from now on. All right, Carson, you're going to sit down for the next couple of weeks. Foles! Let's go.
Which brings me to my first question. You may have realized I've given you guys some questions that I want answered. Has Nick Foles just raised his price tag this coming season, or do you need to see more?
Well, he seems to be ready at a moment's notice, so I think that the price tag is still the same, because this is the Nick Foles that we saw last year also, leading them through the playoffs and leading them to a Super Bowl victory over the Patriots. This is the same Nick Foles. If anything, you might have just put like an extra draft pick there.
So you're saying, well, but he's a free agent after this year. They can't trade him unless they re-sign him. He's a free agent. He can do what he wants unless they want to franchise tag him.
I know the Eagles have interest in either re-signing him or franchise tagging him. I've heard that.
Do you know how much it's going to cost to tag him, though?
I don't know. Probably. I don't know. Well, I mean, a decent amount. Franchise tags are always expensive, especially for a quarterback.
Well, I think at this point it's going to be like $17 to $18 million.
If that's the case, if he's a free agent after this year, and I think you're right, he is. But I thought there was a scenario where the Eagles could trade him. Maybe
franchise tagging him. But who's going to take the 1 year hit of $18 million for a quarterback they're not sure about? That's my question.
Well, the only thing that I can possibly see is a team that needs a quarterback. So I think of a couple. I think of Miami. I think of New York, the Giants.
Yes.
I think of Jacksonville, yes. But here's the thing. We saw how Nick Foles, as the number one starter in St. Louis, and he wasn't that great. And then he comes back to the Eagles, and all of a sudden he's the same quarterback that threw 7 touchdowns in one game. I don't know. Is he just a system guy that you can't take him out of that?
I don't know yet either. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what?
I definitely think he's been raising his price, though, ever since. I mean, obviously his price got raised big time once he won the Super Bowl MVP.
They should have traded him right after that.
But here's the thing again. He gets put into the scenario again. Now he's winning, playoffs games. I mean, obviously it's only been one, but obviously he won all of last year. Mm-hmm. And then, I feel like he's definitely raising his price. Now, here's the question I have to ask. Is it possible that you see the Eagles possibly keep Foles and get rid of Wentz?
Now, that's interesting.
And I know it sounds crazy right now, but if they continue to go through the playoffs, and let's see if they go into New Orleans and beat the Saints.
Listen, I don't think you're out of your mind. I don't think it's crazy. Here's the thing.
I haven't seen Wentz in the playoffs yet.
And also, maybe they're going to be like, Wentz, he can't really stay healthy. If we keep Foles in our system, he's obviously thriving, so he'll stay good.
Keep in mind how much they invested in Wentz. They traded like 5 picks for him.
But I would say Wentz right now is, like, if they were to trade Wentz, they'll get back more than what they would if they were to trade Foles.
I actually agree with that.
I think absolutely. For Wentz, they'll get more. But you're sacrificing a dude that you did everything to make sure you were able to draft at the top of the draft. This is a huge, huge investment in your franchise. You're going to try to sell to Eagles fans, no less. Philadelphia fans, let's not forget them.
I think it's different if you haven't won.
I get that. But do you really think one championship over a 30-year span in anything is going to make Philadelphia fans go, they can, all these teams.
What about if they win it again, though?
What's up?
If they win it again
this year. If they win it again, different story.
Well, here's my next question.
Different.
Well, this brings me to my...
If they win it again, I'm quitting football next year.
I agree. Here's my next question, and I made sure I kind of piled these together. Can Foles lead the Eagles to a victory over what, to me, seems like the destined Saints? Can he do it?
Now.
If they can score 16 points against the Bears defense, which is a very good defense, I think they can score more points to beat the Saints. But the thing is, though, is that we can't forget how good the Saints' offense is.
Can't. I mean, they have Kamara, they have Ingram, they have so many weapons.
Michael Thomas, yeah.
They have so many weapons.
It's so hard, though, because the Saints' defense is really not that good, and that's always been their problem. I will say it's improved. It's improved for them to be able to go 13-3 for the season.
They've also been getting the benefit of the doubt from the offense.
Yeah,
that's true.
The offense has bailed the Saints out big time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, so it's hard.
I mean, I agree with you. It is difficult.
How do you like the Eagles' defense against the Saints' offense? The only realistic thing that I like about the Eagles is the D-line and Fletcher Cox, which is also the D-line.
The linebackers and safeties are not really the problem either. I think it really more so falls on the cornerback that they've had. You've seen that they, injuries throughout the whole season. I believe Ronald Darby's still not playing.
Yeah,
I think. I don't know that off the top of my head. But
I don't believe Darby's playing. I think you're 100% right on that. As a matter of fact, I will. We'll look into that in a little bit. Speaking of the Saints, though, this is a question I have since the Teddy Bridgewater trade. I have been putting on this show asking people, regardless of what happens, is this Drew Brees' last year in the NFL?
Only if they win.
Only if they win. So if they lose
win
against the Eagles this week. Against the Eagles, you think that he'll come back for another year?
There is no way that he's going to go out a loser.
I think even if he does win, he might have to come back. You're playing this well. I understand to go up at the top and win a Super Bowl. It's obviously the greatest thing to do, but you're still playing this well. It's not like he's really had the worst injuries throughout his career either.
No, you're right.
He's never really gotten hurt. It's not like he has to worry about that. And his health.
Right.
Obviously, I would think the biggest factor is not even that, playing well. I think it's maybe if he decides he actually wants to, stay home. And, we already know, we've seen this throughout social media. Drew Brees is a great dad, but obviously,
he's a great family man.
It comes time to eventually, you got to retire so you can really focus on your family. I think that's, honestly, the deciding factor.
I think that is, too. I think we're going to see a difficult decision for Drew Brees. I agree with you. If it's a Super Bowl win, I think he goes.
The Peyton Manning, that kind of difficult decision, because that one kind of dragged out for a little bit.
That was dragged out, but I think that was more press than anything.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. We all kind of felt like didn't you feel at the end of the Super Bowl that the Broncos Super Bowl, that was it? I think we all felt like that was it. But you know what? Bygones be bygones. Peyton, I forgive you. Moving on. Trubisky in general, has he been figured out? Is that what the issue was this game? Is that the issue moving forward? Have people figured out how to defend Mitchell Trubisky? And my other question is, are the Bears NFC North favorites in 2020?
No.
No.
They're not. I don't think they're favorites.
Who is?
In the NFC North? You're going to give it to the Packers, or are you going to give it to the Vikings?
I wouldn't give it to either one of them.
Because you can't give it to. Don't tell me the Lions.
I'm going to say this. I feel like nobody is favorites. I feel like it's equal.
You really?
I really do. I don't think there's any favorites. I feel like that division between the three teams, because you have to realize that obviously the Packers have had very, not the best season. It's very unlike the Packers. But I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to be on another losing season for that long. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to fix it. He's going to do whatever he can.
And the Packers would have to unload a lot of money to get better talent.
The Vikings still, as hard as it is to say, they still had a good season. I would say it's above average, but obviously the NFC is a hard conference in its own. And I think that if the Vikings, they just have to do little things to fix themselves. I think they had the wrong offensive coordinator throughout the year. We saw that.
Can I tell you, I think they have the wrong coach.
You really think so?
You don't like Zimmer?
I like Zimmer. I just think he's more. I think he needs to be a coordinator. I just can't buy into Mike Zimmer anymore.
Well, they hired the quarterback guru from Philadelphia. They hired DiFilippo.
Well,
fired him mid-season. So something wasn't working. Maybe you just can't get through to Kirk Cousins?
Maybe you can't get through to Mike Zimmer. Maybe this is an issue where, who's going to... in Cleveland this year, they finally got rid of Hugh Jackson, but you saw Hard Knocks this year. He was bumping elbows with all of his coordinators. They hated working with each other. You could tell. The only thing that was keeping them together, and this, again, my sentiments out to his family, but the death of his mother and his brother in the same year, it seemed to be the only reason they were all getting along. I mean, they clearly did not like working together. Maybe there's a similar situation going on in Minnesota where these guys cannot work together.
I don't know if you can compare the Browns to the Vikings in that sense, though, because the Browns were the laughingstock of the NFL. The Vikings are at least, especially last year, they were 1 win away from the Super Bowl. Right, so the Browns haven't sniffed that in quite a long time.
I understand that.
I truly think that there's a little bit of leeway in Minnesota, and depending on how Cleveland, addresses the head coaching situation and potentially the coordinator situation, I think that they could be in the same situation where maybe they could be eventually up top the AFC North.
I want to say this, though. We know the Vikings, they have a better offense than the Bears.
Yes.
I would 100% say that.
I think so, too.
And here's the thing. I feel like everybody forgets now. Obviously, this past year didn't go as planned for the Vikings, but think about how good and dominant their defense was 2 years ago.
Very true.
If they can get back to that level, I think they are better than the Bears overall.
Yeah, but their offensive line hasn't really been great the past couple of years.
Yes, all right.
That's a huge factor,
That's fair, yes, because obviously when you don't have a functional offensive line, your whole offense breaks down, and I think you finally saw that this offseason. I think Kirk Cousins didn't click as well with his team as, other than Adam Thielen, I feel like he didn't really click that well with his team at all. So I think they just got to work on that. It's all a starting point, and I think the Vikings, I don't think they really were... I don't know. I feel like I want to put the blame on Kirk a little bit, too.
It's tough to do, right? This is a hard team to figure out in the North because you want to blame the quarterback, which is the right thing to do usually.
It's normally quarterback head coach.
Right. But I feel like more signs are pointing, because I look at what Kirk Cousins was able to do last year and I look at what he did this year, and I don't see a tremendous drop-off. That tells me a lack of game plan, a lack of a decent coaching to fit a system to him, and that falls on Mike Zimmer.
Do you think maybe this has something to do with losing your best offensive coordinator in Pat Shurmur?
Listen, of course that has something to do with it. I'm not saying that I've been on Pat Shurmur's side. He is... I think he's handled everything great in New York.
I think he has too.
I really do. And that includes the Odell nonsense. How he's said, hey, talk to Odell. You know what I mean? How he's handled the Giants in the face of an extreme amount of adversity and fan backlash and all this. I think Pat Shurmur's been great. I think Minnesota misses him. I think you're right.
That's what I mean.
But
that's what I mean.
Does that listen, Belichick loses coordinators left and right.
But you still have the greatest head coach of all time.
Yeah, is that an excuse? Am I supposed to say, hey, Mike, you can keep this job because you're not Bill Belichick? You know what I mean? That doesn't seem fair.
You know who also misses the Vikings? Case Keenum.
I think, because he can't perform in general without
the system.
Case Keenum has been an absolute disaster as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you think, Eric. I think he's been a disaster. But we do have a caller on the line. Caller, you're on WHPC Sports Talk.
Hello, panel. How are you?
Dave, how you doing, buddy?
Good. And I actually did bring up a point, and I only have my 2 dogs to back me up. With 1:49 left, why didn't Chicago, a la the Patriots, why didn't Chicago let Philadelphia just run the ball into the end zone? Even if they got the 2-point conversion, that means Chicago only would have been down 6 points.
Yeah, Nagy kind of dropped the ball on that one, no pun intended. But yeah, he totally wasted a lot of time on that.
It was an interesting decision, probably the wrong decision, and
eventually the wrong decision.
From a first-year head coach, what can you expect? He's going to learn from this mistake, and hopefully it won't happen in the future. I feel like
that's why you have assistants. I mean, not everything has to go through your coach. That's why you wear that stupid thing on your head.
I do have some sound from Nagy, though. This is what he had to say on the issue.
Proud of our guys for battling all year long. They battled their tails off again to the very end. And it stings to lose, so you got to feel it. I want them to feel it. I want our coaches to feel it. And they will do that. We just had for us to get together in that locker room and you can see the emotion and how much the guys care, how much of a family we are. We grew so much in this year.
Now, he did mention in that post-game press conference, there was it was a bad call. It was a bad decision on his part.
Accountability.
But you know what? He's accountable. He's coming out saying, you know what? He's saying the right things. I think Nagy's a good coach. I think the Bears are in a good place. Obviously, now the defense with Khalil Mack is, it feels indestructible.
Something to look out for.
Yeah.
Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Bears, getting a lot of looks for the next head coach of a new team.
The reason I think he stays in Chicago Chicago is because absolutely no one's looking for a defensive-minded coach right now. They all want an offensive guy. I think he stays in Chicago another year.
I hope he does.
Don't forget the Jets might pick him up then.
The Jets love their D coordinators. Oh, my God.
They don't even have a scheduled interview for him, I don't believe. So.
May I step on one point that I wasn't quite clear on Friday?
Sure.
When I said as far as assistants coming in with the new coaching staff, Francesa brought it up today also. The housing costs on the East and West Coasts, if you're going to bring in a young assistant, and let's just throw a number of $1 million, as far as his pay, what kind of a house is he going to buy?
That's a great point. Maybe a split level. I played Life a lot, so there's tutors. You could get a split level. You could get one of those beach houses. Those are super cheap. I'm sorry.
It's always a safe bet on the island is to get close to the water.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and also with the young coaches, obviously for the most part they're married with kids. The wives want nothing to do with New York. They want to come in. They want to have a normal life. They don't want to. They sort of just want to blend in. And once you're in New York, it's a different dog. If you're winning, you're wonderful. If you're losing, well, let's not go out to that restaurant. We'll go to the drive-in at the other place.
It's like being. It's like being a head. Yeah, it's very much like being a celebrity, but being a head coach, especially in football in New York, especially being a Jet head coach in New York, reminds me of being a manager for the Chicago Cubs before the streak broke. Like if you're going to be hated unless you break that streak, in which case you're a hero forever.
Yes,
ever. I
could agree with that.
If the next New York head coach. If there's a next New York head coach who wins the Super Bowl for the Jets, they will. There is not a restaurant that won't pick up the tab.
Same thing with the Knicks, the Rangers, the Islanders.
And I will say
Mets.
this too. Not even just win a Super Bowl. In terms of just getting to the playoffs, everybody's already going to love you.
Yes.
Obviously, if you win the Super Bowl, then you're a living legend.
Yeah.
But, just to make the playoffs is what all Jet fans are looking for, and they will do anything for you if you do that.
You're right.
So, like the first 2 years of Rex, you were basically, I can't really say what I really want to say, but there was green everywhere for you probably, right?
Yeah. Jeez. What else you got, Dave?
Well, I was going to ask in a couple of years, when you brought up Chicago, who would have a better chance of being the mayor of Chicago, Cody Parkey or Steve Bartman?
Cody
Bartman, only because the Cubs actually won.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, my goodness. That's actually a great question. I'll say Parkey has my vote, but that's a sympathy vote. I feel terrible for this guy.
Bartman
really
2024.
My God.
It's
Maybe
funny
they can run on the same ticket.
It's funny, too, because there's all these Instagram videos and stuff of them finding out that he actually practices kicking field goals with kicking it into the poles.
They had a field day.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had.
Wins
Poor
again.
guy, man. Social media,
they're killing him.
Destroys everybody.
And listen, that's how it destroys everybody. It certainly destroys NFL kickers.
It's a curse and a blessing.
Yeah. Don't they have a large Polish population in Chicago? Why would you kick it at the Poles? All right, I'll give you a betting angle, and this is
sure.
It's gone well 12 of the last 14 years as far as the championship game. The team with the most amount of letters in the school name generally wins the game. I'll let you go.
Is that true? I wonder if that's actually true. I'm going to look at that.
ALAB.
That's probably true.
Is it like full name? So Alabama Crimson
that's what
Tide?
I think he's saying like just the name of the school. So if that's true, that's a hell of a stat to pull.
So Alabama and Clemson. So ALAB.
Alabama wins. He's using fingers in case you can't see.
It's tied. They both got 7.
Well, then he must mean the whole name then.
Or maybe he means like just Crimson Tide, because then it's obviously like obviously,
but
obviously Crimson Tide's going to win every time. Yeah,
that's actually hysterical.
Maybe that's the point.
This is why we love when Dave calls. Listen, let's turn.
Maybe it's just tied. I don't know.
Well, listen, let's turn the dial a little bit. Let's move forward because we've spent most of it on one game so far. Jeez, we suck. Moving on.
Game was
do we still believe in Deshaun Watson, or has he? I mean, what do we feel about him right now?
I love Watson.
I still believe in Watson. I think this is what was this? Was this his first playoff game?
This is his first playoff game.
Yeah, okay, so
first with a huge deficit.
Yeah, and then I think you're also. I think he's going to learn from this, and I still think Bill O'Brien's in. I don't think he can fire him.
Okay, so you're saying Bill O'Brien's in. Eric, what about you?
I think that he's in, but he's kind of like the Texans get to the playoffs a lot. He just can't seem to get out of his own way. And it's not necessarily his fault.
Well, this is the same guy who didn't call timeout on the field, right? During remember that Gronkowski, that huge thing against the Patriots? Gronkowski makes a big catch in playoff game.
Was this one
around that playoff game? Excuse me. No, this is this year. Year against their game with the Patriots. Gronkowski makes a big catch, and the Patriots are rolling over the Texans defense, and he doesn't call timeout. He comes back into a presser after the game, and people are like, "Why didn't you call timeout after that Gronkowski goes, that's not my job." It's like, whose job is it then, you idiot? You're the head coach. I just think he's worn out his welcome in Houston. I think this is probably the end of the road for Bill O'Brien, and if it's not, he is the first coach on the hot seat in this coming year.
They also play in a tough division. Look at the Colts.
Definitely
they're rejuvenated.
Speaking of which, Colts-Chiefs this week. Can the Colts keep up with the Chiefs' offense?
Yes, they can.
I think so.
I agree. I think this is going to be a shootout.
Line is amazing.
I think this is going to be a shootout, but I think the Colts can keep up. Will the Chiefs' defense continue to be a revolving door?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the problem for the Chiefs and what could cost them. Because honestly, looking at the Colts right now, the way their defense is performing, and Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton are back in their zone. I
have a funny feeling they're going to have a good game.
Yeah,
I have a funny feeling that the defense will actually pretend to play football for a few quarters.
I need Eric Berry to
I really hope
get these guys together.
He hasn't been the same this year. I watched every game this year. Eric Berry hasn't been the same.
Well, also, hasn't he been injured the whole year?
He's came off into this year off an ACL. Yeah, the ALC, the American League of Champions, whatever. An ACL tear. The year before that, he was still pretty much fresh off of chemo from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. This guy has battled through everything. He hasn't looked the same. He hasn't been the all-pro safety that I remember, but he still has all the respect for me in the world.
How old is he, by the way?
29. I think he turned 30 this year. So
at the beginning of the end, do you think?
Maybe this might be the stepping down for maybe another safety will take that second place in my mind, because still to this day Earl Thomas is the big time safety when he's on the field. But having said
we'll see him in the Dallas jersey.
What's that?
We'll see him in a Dallas jersey.
Who's that?
Too, Earl Thomas.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? I don't like it, but I hate the Cowboys. So
that's going to be terrible.
Can Andrew Luck win the Super Bowl this year or no?
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Can he or can he not, guys?
I know we have the same argument all the time.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
Not this year, right? I say no, too.
I think the NFC is just too strong.
Oh, my God. But, okay, hold on. Are they the best team in the AFC right now? Are they the most complete team in the AFC?
No, that would be the Chargers.
Right now, the Chargers.
Right now, the Chargers are the best team in football.
I think the Chargers are going to march into New England. I'm not going to say they're going to destroy them, but I think they have a chance to beat them.
Listen, I think San Diego's L.A. My God, I think the L.A. Chargers actually have a chance of going into Gillette and beating the Patriots, but the Patriots just don't look right to me. I don't know what it is, but yet
You've been all over this, so
I don't know what it is. I honestly can't put my finger on it. They don't look the same. I don't know what it is. They just don't look right.
Well, I agree, Eric, and being not just because I'm a fan of the Jets, but looking at the Patriots a lot throughout this whole season, they have not looked as dominant as they have in the past. I forgot they lost 3 straight or 4 straight for the first time in
the Brady era.
I don't know, in a long time. So there's obviously it's not the same. I think they are missing some key players that they need to have. So we'll see.
Can I say if the Chargers beat the Patriots, then the answer is yes?
Okay, that's I guess, but I was talking about right this second.
Oh, right this second, currently, right now? No, because the road still leads through New England.
All right, and having said that, the Chargers 9-0 away games this year. Does that continue in Gillette?
When they play at home, they're still away games. There are no Charger fans. It's everybody else. It's everybody else. That's why they're so good, because it seems like they play on the road all year.
I think that's hysterical and also true. Do we still believe in Lamar Jackson despite his absolutely dismal performance?
I think so.
I do too.
He's 21 years old. He turned 22 today. Actually, happy birthday, Lamar Jackson. Yes,
happy
birthday today. But he's just so young, and he was not expecting to start this year, and then obviously Flacco was awful. So, Jackson gets put into this, he gets thrown into the fire, and he did pretty well throughout the season, got them to win the AFC North title.
Would you have taken him out yesterday?
I don't think so. I mean, look what he did. They almost won.
Yeah, but the Chargers kind of took a break.
They almost made a comeback. They almost made a comeback.
Fine, but the Chargers look like they took a break. If I was Harbaugh, I would have.
That's their own fault.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying, Harbaugh, if he's still going to be there, was looking more so as in, okay, this is playoff experience for the kid. We are going to keep playing the kid because when we come back here again, he'll have more experience.
So Flacco sucks. I don't want to hear any of that.
I think Flacco's going to Miami.
That actually brings me to another question, by the way, and I think I have some sound on Jackson real quick. I think this was his post-game presser.
Just played like we didn't want to be here. I did, not my team. I feel like I played poorly.
Listen to that again. I'm sorry. Did it sound like he just called out his team?
Wait, yeah.
Listen again. He says, I just feel like we played like we didn't want to be here. I did. It sounds like the next thing he said, I'm going to raise the volume. Sounds like the next thing he says, not my team. Listen.
We just played like we didn't want to be here. I did, not my team. Yeah. I feel like I played poorly. You know, there was a lot of things, we could have did.
Now, listen, this is a young kid. Yeah, and I don't think he's fully understood the gravity of his position in the NFL yet. But you can't come out in a press conference and say, I wanted to play, but not my team.
I'm sure
maybe what he meant. Maybe what he meant was, I know I did. I don't know about my team, but that's not what he said. And even if that is what he meant, don't say it.
Wrong way. He phrased it the wrong way, and I'm sure he's going to be hearing it from the Ravens.
And he was on the verge of tears during that press conference. I'm not going to kill the kid, but
the kid's also 21. 22, actually.
You can't come out and say that. Having said that, you say Flacco sucks. I asked the question, should Harbaugh have gone to Flacco?
I'm still going to say no. I think, even though the Chargers did, maybe it seemed like they gave up a little bit in terms of they're like, we have the win. Doesn't matter. He still almost got them to come back. I don't think Flacco would have done any better.
All right, let's keep moving because we got a ton to get to. Phil Rivers seems like he's on a warpath, but do the Patriots have enough to win? Do they have enough players? Is Edelman and Gronk enough? Is Hogan enough? Is that defense enough?
It's not that they have enough players.
Tom Brady.
It's just Tom Brady and Bill Belichick that you never know.
That's always what you come back to. Yeah. That's all you can, right?
That's it.
Impact that Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram have to make this a win against the Patriots.
Huge. Brady. Brady will make mistakes. When you get to him, I've seen it twice.
Yep.
When you get to Brady, he's going to make bad throws.
If you give him too much time, he's going to kill you. That's where he kills you.
That's always where he kills you. Why would you take the ball out of Russell Wilson's hand? You guys watched the Seahawk game, right?
Yes, I did.
End of the game, they're running the football. What is Pete Carroll doing? Is he too smart for his own good?
He was making up for the Super Bowl.
And he didn't. You know what? They said I should have did some running plays, so here we go. I'll just run the ball. Oh, he's not here anymore, right? What is he doing?
I don't know. He outcoaches himself all the time.
I don't get it.
But that's like an ongoing theme with coaches. Belichick outcoached himself with the Miami game. That whole miracle.
He's done it before, but you get my point. Like, what are you doing in the biggest game? They weren't even supposed to be here, and you could have made something out of house money, and you didn't.
Listen, I thought the X factor in that game was Dak. And like you said, on Friday, Zeke was amazing that game.
Dak
Zeke
was better. And Cooper all played.
Did you see Hurns' injury, though?
I did.
I saw that.
That's a big deal.
Broken leg. It happens.
It happened. I feel horrendous for this guy.
No, I know.
I had to walk around the rest of the night holding my ankle, making sure it was still there.
I will say this. I do feel bad for the guy, but it's not like he played well this season anyways. They're really not going to miss him that much.
Fine, fair, but you still don't want to see that. The guy's still young. Of course, I
never want to see that happen to anybody, but in terms of his play this season, they're not missing much.
By the way, Giants fans, hate the Cowboys all you want, but you can't hate Dak Prescott. You can't hate Dak Prescott when he speaks.
It means a lot, obviously. I mean, my goal is to win the big thing, and you got to win more than one playoff game, but you got to start with your first. So it's huge just to come in and get that first one, but it's on to the next. I mean, this team and myself, we're not satisfied with this. With this just one playoff win or this win this year, we want to keep going. So excited
this for it. Dude is a leader.
Let me just say this.
Oh God.
I don't hate the Cowboys because I hate the play. No, will you let me finish?
Fine.
I don't hate the Cowboys because I hate the player. I dislike them because they're Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys because I hate Jerry Jones. That is the main. He's just so I can't say what I truly want to say, but he's just. He's got a punchable face.
He's so old too, and he still has acne.
He's really got. You got a paint. You got a face. I don't know what it is. It's just your face. I just want to punch you in your face. A little taste of Step Brothers over there. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it.
I hate the Redskins because of Jay Gruden. Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
I hate the Redskins because of Jay Gruden. I don't think he's a great coach, and I just don't like. I hate everyone in the NFC East. I hate the Eagles because of mainly the fans, and I hate the Cowboys because of the owner. The owner's terrible.
All right. So
in terms of personality,
all right. Let's move on a little bit, though.
He's a Super Bowl champ, but whatever.
Seahawks, are they on the right track after this season? Are they on the right track? I think they are. Right?
Yeah, 100%. I was not expecting this from them at all. I thought since their offensive line was awful that there's not a shot they have it, and they impressed me.
All right, Eric. This is directly to you.
Okay.
Rams D, is it too much for the Cowboys, or are their offense too explosive? And can Dak, Cooper, and Zeke lead the Cowboys to a Super Bowl?
Here's the thing. There's a possibility that we will see an Eagles-Cowboys NFC Championship game.
Oh, boy. That'll be brutal for you.
Fun for me, right? Go AFC, whoever. But
yes, my favorite division in all of sports, the AFC, whatever.
So here's the thing: I think that the Cowboys have an outstanding chance to win because the Rams D has been relatively inconsistent. However, the only way the Cowboys win is Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott. However, the Rams' offense is going to be even better than the Cowboys' offense. I'm picking Rams.
Okay, listen, I think that's fair. Dom, what do you say?
Oh, I'm saying the Rams all the way.
I think it's Rams, too.
I think, honestly, the key factor of this game is that Donald is going to stop Elliott.
And it's what he always does. I mean, Donald is an absolute animal.
Even if he is more of a pass rusher, I still think he's going to have to do, he's going to step it up.
I have said over and over again, he is the best three technique in the game since Warren Sapp. I think that still holds true. I think this dude is a Hall of Famer waiting to happen. We do have a call on the line. Caller, you're on WHPC Sports Talk.
You know who it is.
Oh, my gosh. It's the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel Morales. Dan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
I'm actually glad that you're calling in right now because we're doing the last two questions of our football segment because I want to ask the last two to you as well. But what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? I just heard what whoever said that Aaron Donald is one of the best three techniques in the game and will be a future Hall of Famer. I completely agree with that.
All right. What else you got?
That. What else I got? Watched the games from yesterday that Lamar Jackson decided to play football in the last 9 minutes and didn't play the first 3-4 quarters.
Yeah, they say those first 3 quarters are super important.
Very, very important. Those are very important. Very, very important.
I always made this joke about Eli Manning and Peyton Manning, that Eli was like, "Don't worry, guys, we'll get him in the fourth quarter. The last 2 minutes. That's when I'll shine. We'll make this happen." Then Peyton's like, if we pile it all in the first 3 quarters, we don't got to play the fourth. That's how those two players played their whole career.
I didn't know Eli and Peyton sounded the same.
They just both sound like they have a mouthful of marbles. Now, here's my question. I think they both sound like just. Never mind. Moving on.
I know what you mean.
I'm going to ask everybody, including our caller, Daniel Morales, co-host of Beyond. I almost said Beyond the Game.
Yep.
Of WHPC Sports Talk on Mondays. I'll start with Eric. Eric, what was your favorite and least favorite game of this past week?
The least favorite game, that would happen to be the Eagles and the Bears. That was my least favorite. I was pulling for the Bears. I literally said at kickoff, all right, I'm a Bears fan for the rest of the playoffs. That only lasted a couple of hours. And my favorite game, honestly, it was the Cowboys-Seahawks game.
Okay. Listen, I thought it was close. Besides the way it ended, I thought it was a great game, too.
And then honorable mention was the Colts and the Texans. Andrew Luck looked amazing.
How was that? That is the worst. That's my least favorite game.
That game sucked.
No, because
the Colts destroyed. The touchdown the Texans scored isn't even a touchdown. In a regular season game, that's a touchback.
But
Roger Goodell's like,
somebody else
just Roger Goodell's like, no, just give them a chance, please, so it looks better for us.
The reason why I'm saying that is because that just showcased how good the Colts offense is.
No, it didn't. It showed how good Andrew Luck can be in the first quarter and how he can completely fade the rest of the game. Dan, what do you say?
Colts are dangerous.
Well, I like the Texans game because did you see how Quentin Nelson dominated the game?
You're breaking up a little. Can you repeat that, Dan?
Yeah, Quentin Nelson just dominated Jadeveon Clowney that whole
night. Yeah, he had his number. Quentin Nelson was the right pick for the Colts.
With Jadeveon Clowney that Sunday. It was actually insane watching that.
And quite frankly, J.J. Watt was a non-factor also. That whole defensive line sucked that whole night.
Until he took the ball for the interception.
Yeah. Well,
I love functioning offensive lines.
Yeah. Moving forward. moving forward, I have one last question for everybody, and then Dan, I got to let you go. What is the best offense left in the playoffs? Defense, coach, and quarterback. Eric, go.
Offense, Chiefs.
Okay.
Defense, Eagles. Coach. Oh, man.
Come on.
Is this hard?
Come on now.
I'm trying to think NFC and obviously Belichick was my
quarterback
and quarterback Tom Brady.
Okay, Dom.
Brady, Belichick, Chiefs, and for defense, I'm gonna give it to the Colts.
You're giving it to the Colts. That's an interesting pick. Dan, you're the best offense, best defense, quarterback, and coach left in the playoffs.
All right, so best offense, I'm probably gonna have to go. I'm probably gonna go with the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
I think that's fair because that's my best offense too.
Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick as the coach. That's that, and then the best defense. Right now, I think the Eagles' defense is always going to be scared of me when they come late in the playoffs. Not going to lie.
I think you're being fair. I think you're being fair right there. I really do. I have Eagles. Thank you for the call, by the way, Dan. We'll see you next week, and Dan Morales will rejoin us next week right here on WHPC Sports Talk. I have the Saints as the best offense right now. I have the Philadelphia Eagles as the best defense. I have Belichick, obviously the best coach. I'm going Phil Rivers, best quarterback left in the playoffs.
Really?
I'm going Phil Rivers. You can't convince me different, so don't even try. We're going to be right back after this. We got so much left to do. Please don't go anywhere. It's Nick, it's Eric, it's Dom. We have some other guests in the studio who are just kind of listening today, but they'll be joining us next week, or one of them will be. So don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for tuning in, but we'll be back right after this on 90.3 WHPC.
Come on, everybody. Let's sing along with Bruce.
Join me, Kim Tracy, for the music of Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band on Thunder Road, Sundays at 1 p.m. on the Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC and on the iHeartRadio app.
Let's do it for America's sweethearts. I must confess.
Who's the sweethearts? Who will be the sweethearts after tonight? That's what we're about to discuss. We're going to get into the college football game tonight that we definitely need to cover. But Eric brought up a nice little point before we went to break, or as we were in break. Eric, you asked a question. Can you ask it again, please?
Okay. Nick, you just asked the lovely question of, well, one of them, who is the best coach left in the playoffs?
Right.
Now, before Dom rudely jumped down my throat and interrupted me, I was debating, honestly, Anthony Lynn of the LA Chargers.
I don't think you're 100% off. I love the way he talks. I love the way he coaches his team. I think he's a good coach. I think he's an underrated coach. So I don't think you're crazy. By the way, let's listen a little bit after the game, the presser. This is Anthony Lynn after the Charger game.
We came here to play a four-quarter football game, and we did. You know, I know at times it looked like we had gotten a nice little lead, but that team fought back. That team played hard. And, no, this is a tough place to play, but I feel like the first time we played them, we played their game. Today, I think we played our game.
Typical coach answer, we played their game last time, we played our game this time. But you know what?
He has a deep voice, so it works.
Yeah, exactly. I really enjoy listening to him talk. It wasn't the only big thing about that presser. He said a bunch of things worth mentioning. Yeah, things and stuff. Gave tons of credit to... Listen, the Ravens are a good team. They're a surprise team this year. They're well coached. That's what it comes down to. John Harbaugh is a wonderful coach, and I think that's mostly what he was attributing to. But Anthony Lynn is another one of these young surprise coaches in the NFL, like a Sean McVay, like a Doug Peterson, who kind of came out guns blazing, swinging for the fences, and he hit a home run with this team, drafting Joey Bosa, or being part of that draft, being part of the bringing back Melvin Ingram, sorry. Brandon Ingram. Jesus.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse my language.
Bringing back Antonio Gates for another year.
Which was interesting. I was so against it. I said, why is they keep bringing this guy back? It's because he can still be effective. He still can be.
And you know what? If they win a Super Bowl, he'll go out on top.
Yeah, and that'd be nice for Antonio Gates. He never got there. He's a shoo-in Hall of Famer. Yeah, 100%. You don't even have to ask the question. Yeah, 100% Hall of Famer. First ballot. I mean, if there was ever a unanimous decision, he's maybe, aside from Tony Gonzalez, the best tight end who's ever played the game. So, It's not even a question at this point.
Soon it'll be Travis Kelce and Gronk.
Alabama, Clemson tonight. Nick Saban is on the brink of being remembered as the GOAT. Do you think he already is the greatest of all time? Do you think Bear Bryant beats him, or does he need this win tonight?
I don't think he needs this win. He's gonna win.
I know he's going to.
I don't think he needs it. I mean, to see how many, you think about it this way, you see how many different players that he's worked with, and that how well they've done in Alabama, whether they do well or not in the NFL. Which a lot of times I feel like the quarterbacks, and for one position, they never really do well, I feel like, in the NFL.
Even though he can't declare this year, is this the NFL audition for Tua Tagovailoa?
Well, it's on the big stage, and you know what? Last year he really introduced himself quite nicely in relief of Jalen Hurts against Georgia.
Yep.
So that was step one. This is basically, all right, was that a fluke? You're going up against round 4 against Clemson. I like Tua. I think he is going to be a nice quarterback in the NFL if he declares, which I think he will. Not this year, but next year. Because next year's draft class is going to be highlighted probably by Herbert, Tagovailoa, and Jake Fromm.
I think that's fair.
So that's going to be an interesting draft class. I think Alabama's going to win, but going off of your point,
okay.
I have a question. Are you talking? Are you talking GOAT as in Alabama football?
I'm talking about the greatest college football coach ever.
Oh man.
Because the only one who can enter the conversation in my... okay, listen.
Is it controversial if I say Joe Paterno's up there?
It is controversial because of the... Listen, was he a wonderful football coach? Yes, he won 2 accredited national championships, but I try to keep him out of the conversation because I just, as a person, can't accept the fact that this is a man who stood by and let... Listen, that's a conversation for another day. For reasons. But having said that...
Of Steve Spurrier... You can think of Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer is up there.
You can think of, honestly, Bear Bryant, Nick Saban. Yeah, I think Saban's up there.
The Florida State head coach, whose name is escaping me right now, retired around the same time as Paterno. Somebody help me here. Oh, gosh.
What year?
He retired. He was a Seminole coach until like 2007. It's killing me that I'm blanking on his name right now. Do me a favor and look that up. But he's way up there. He had the wins lead until Paterno took it. But having said, I can't believe I'm spacing on this name. It's going to kill me that when you say the name.
Over under 57.5 points.
But
over.
Yeah, I think it's over. Over because I honestly I don't think Clemson's going to score that much. I think it's going to be a lot of Alabama, and that's crazy to say that they're going to cover it by themselves. But I think they're that
Bobby
good.
Bowden.
Bobby Bowden, that's the guy.
Was that it?
That's the guy.
All right.
Having said that, here's another question for you. Jalen Hurts. What a kid, right?
Yeah.
Has his job taken away from him. And then comes back and does what he does, plays other positions, fills in for Tua. Will we see him at quarterback in this game, or do we see him at other positions as a weapon?
I guess only if Tua gets hurt or if there's no production. Saban is not afraid to do that. As we saw last year against Georgia, Hurts wasn't doing anything. You put in Tua, and all of a sudden, it's a brand new football game. He's not afraid to do that. So unless Alabama is getting shut out, or there's no offensive production, which I don't expect either one of them,
yeah,
I think this is Tagovailoa's game.
I think you're going to see Hurts playing all different positions. I noticed that, I think it was a couple weeks ago, or whenever Alabama played, like at least 2 games ago. They were using
Before
Hurts.
the new year.
Yeah, they were using Hurts, in a Wildcard formation, taking snaps. I could see that to maybe confuse the defense. You're not going to sure if he's going to throw it or not, because obviously they still know Hurts has the throwing ability. And I really wouldn't be shocked to use him at quarterback sometimes, just to use for some trick plays. Because let's not forget that Hurts did come in and fill in that role against Georgia and have them come back and win that game. Because remember, Georgia should have won that game.
Yeah. They should have won both, actually.
Well, yeah, they should have won the championship and the last time.
I have a question, though.
Okay.
Do you think that this could be a send-off for Jalen Hurts?
I think so. I mean, it's obviously a send-off. This is his final year.
Then he might get to play garbage time in the 4th if Alabama's winning.
And I think you'll see that.
He's a senior?
He's a senior. Yeah, he was a redshirt senior, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure this is his final. I know this is his final year. Actually, I don't know if he was redshirted.
Isn't he transferring somewhere?
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Well, no,
unless I'm missing something.
I believe in like the off.
He decided not to do it.
Yeah.
Look that. I know this is his final year with Alabama. I'm pretty sure it's his final year in college football, and I'm certain it's his final year because he's consideration for the NFL draft. Having said that, my final question: what does it do to Dabo Swinney's legacy to have one more BCS title if he can miraculously beat Alabama?
Man, first off, they have the team to do it, but they're missing their
Junior.
Oh, he's a junior?
He's a junior, okay.
Oh, so he can transfer.
He can, but what happens if he transfers? He loses a year of eligibility. I don't think he can transfer. I think he had to do it before the season. He can't transfer.
Ranking possible landing spots for Jalen Hurts, likely transfer from Alabama.
Okay, so he can. So they give him another year of eligibility?
Yeah, Florida Atlantic's on the list.
Interesting.
Oklahoma.
Well, I think he should.
Which I would love. Florida State.
If that's the case, because that essentially makes him a super redshirt senior.
Tennessee.
Because he has to lose a year and then come back another year after. I don't think he's allowed
Florida is on this list.
Oh, God.
Okay, let's be honest.
Here we go.
This is going to be a little controversial. I don't hate Alabama as a Gator fan. I hate Florida State. That's a totally different story. I would love Jalen Hurts in Florida. Are you kidding me?
Of course you would. You're a Florida fan.
But
former Miami Dolphin fan.
Felipe Franks is terrible.
Oh, God.
He's so bad. He's awful.
And
remember
you know how
Rio?
you know how we know that? Because no one in this room's ever heard of him.
Yeah.
Having said
Felipe Franks?
Yes.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, that's my point. That's about it. That's all we got for college football. I would go to you know what? I would go to break, but we don't have enough time. Stick around for Revelations. It comes up after us. But first, we got a ton of baseball we got to give you before we leave. MLB. All right, so here's an interesting thing. Before we do the hot stove stuff, you're welcome. David Wright set to move to the front office. I believe that he is allowing his salary to be absorbed in some way, so it doesn't hit their.
Technically, he is not on the Mets roster.
He's agreed not to be.
It was a mutual agreement.
Yes.
He's basically the right-hand man to which Wilpon? Jeff?
I guess
Wilpon
Jeff.
And Brody.
Yeah.
So he's going...
Interesting.
So you know what?
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Met trade a trio of prospects for J.D. Davis. What do we feel about this, Dom? Well, what do you think about J.D. Davis in general?
I think more so it's just like they're trading away these prospects that I feel like, I don't think they have too much of a future on the team. I think it's always a good thing. Like, it's also like the Keon Broxton trade.
Yes, exactly.
I think it's the same way with that. You get a speedy guy who is very good at defense, and I think you trade away the prospects you traded away, and then also don't forget the pitcher. I believe Bobby Wall.
Yep.
He wasn't doing much either. So I think it's always good when you trade away these guys on these Mets team that really have not performing that well, and also when it comes to the prospects are so hit or miss now unless they're the top one, so I don't mind it at all.
Plawecki traded for a duo of prospects. I guess that means Darno's your backup catcher. You happy with it? You unhappy with it? Or do you not care?
I honestly, it really doesn't bother me. I'm going to be honest. I'm happy with Wilson Ramos starting.
Yes,
I think you should be.
I was happy with that signing. So yeah, Kevin Plawecki. I mean, it was good for defense, but hitting not the brightest.
Neither is Darno.
Well, but that's why he's our backup now.
That was the kind of tandem that actually Mets fans really liked. Plawecki was normally the defensive guy, and Darno was the offensive guy that didn't know
Mets
how to
fans
catch.
like that. They don't know good baseball. That's why.
Well, 2015, it was pretty good.
2015, sure, but
Mets interested in lefty Justin Wilson. What do you feel about him?
I
think it's a good pickup. I don't hate it.
Yeah,
I think they need some depth. I think it works for them.
You know what I think they should do?
Which
they're not going to do. But I think they should get rid of Cespedes.
I don't see how you can. You're going to eat that whole... No one's going to take that contract.
I know. It's the contract that's the issue. But I feel like they got to get him out of there as soon as they can.
Yeah. Oh, listen. You and everybody else...
Did you like the signing when it happened, when they brought him back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
Well, who didn't? Because you didn't have a choice. You were literally stuck against a wall.
It's just like, I'll throw it to football real quick. Like when the Jets signed Muhammad Wilkerson, I was thrilled with the signing. I wanted it to happen, but am I happy afterwards? No.
Okay, well, what about bringing back a talent? So what about when they brought back Revis? Isn't it kind of similar?
Of course I was thrilled still.
Yeah, because Darrell Revis was amazing.
And then he had one good year, and then he fell.
And then that was it.
I'm not happy with the Mets right now, even as a Yankee fan. I think they need to do more. As a Mets fan, how do you feel?
Oh, well, they definitely need to do more, but I think they are, I like the activity, that there's been more activity this off-season there ever has been. So I will say I like that they're taking this kind of step to being more active.
Eric, the general consensus on signing Britton, how do we feel about it.
I love it because you know
Yankees,
what?
by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think bringing back Britton was the right move, and especially for the contract, you need lefties in there, and the Yankees. It kind of stings a little bit because I didn't really want to see Robertson go, but
I don't think anybody did. You're right.
But teams are so hot and heavy now to get to the bullpen. Pitchers only need to go 5 innings now, maybe 6 if you're lucky. But as long as you have a really good bullpen, and they're still in on Adam Ottavino too.
Yeah. Do you think they should do it or no?
I wouldn't be upset.
Does a Tulo signing slam the door shut on Machado?
No, it's insurance because
really okay.
Yeah,
I don't think so either. Insurance.
I don't think it shuts the door completely. Although Cashman came out and said, "Oh, he's the starting shortstop." Really?
Well,
okay.
No. He has the chance to win the starting shortstop.
No, he said he's the starting shortstop. We look at him.
What?
Because he went around the infield. Oh, you have Andujar at third base, you got Tulo at short, Torres at second, and then Luke Voigt at first base. That's what he said. So he's going in with the mindset.
It's a low risk, high reward move.
Yes, I agree. I love the Tulo signing. It's so low risk, and you know what? The guy dreamed about being a Yankee for the longest time, and he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder, and that's the best part.
We have officially run out of time, gentlemen. We're not going to get to do anything really anymore that I wanted to. This has just been a loaded hour. We went crazy with NFL football. We went crazy with college football. We had to. What are we going to do?
Yeah, that time of year.
I'll just throw it out there. I'm concerned that the Yankees are too righty latent. I think it's a big deal. I think the first base is still a hole. I think Harper's the right choice if you want to spend that kind of money. But I'm not confident with Bird and Boyd going into the season. I don't see how you can leave it alone. And it's too righty. Like I said, it's too righty heavy,
especially with Didi hurt.
I think Boris has ruined negotiations with Harper. I think he might wind up being a national, and for less money than he ever expected to be.
I think he's going to Philly.
That'll be interesting. Well, I don't hate it either way. Finally, 2-minute drill time. Eric, what do you got?
College football tonight. Obviously, we have the 4th rematch in a row, Alabama-Clemson. I don't think this is bad for the sport, being that you have this many rematches, because Clemson and Alabama match up so well. You got the Sunshine Boy from Remember the Titans, quarterback in Clemson. But listen, this is Alabama's game to lose, but they're going to win. I'm going to say by 2 touchdowns.
Tom, go.
Cliff Kingsbury is currently meeting with the Jets. Actually, as the show is going on, about the head coach opening. I said it on Friday. I would love that. And New York Islanders have won 7 straight. Robin Leonard. Third start of the week.
Having said that, I will just give you this. I think that this is a pretty cool day. We had Dom back. Dom, good luck in college. Have fun with everything.
You'll see him
We'll
Friday,
miss you.
probably.
What's that?
I think you'll see him Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday.
You're coming back Friday?
Yeah.
Awesome, great. So we'll see him Friday then. So never mind. Dom, goodbye on this show. I don't think you're here next Monday.
No, I won't be here next Monday.
All right. Well, listen, I think I speak for everybody in the room when I say, oh, wow! What a wonderful broadcast. But it's time to say, see ya! That's right, because we are... But don't worry, even though we're going to be back next week. And I promise, same bat time, same bat channel. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Be sure to tip your waitress. Thank you so much. And stick around for Revelations. It comes up right here on 90.3 WHPC.